Imagine being a first grade teacher, standing in front of your class of 20 students, giving instruction, when all of a sudden, seemingly out of nowhere, you are shot. Your assailant turns out to be one of your 6-year-old students. This is exactly what happened to 25-year-old Abigail Zwarner on Friday, January 6th, 2023. An absolute tragedy was averted that day. But what might even be more shocking than a 6-year-old shooting their teacher is the school system that failed to protect Abigail from the events that almost took her life. Abigail Zwarner is a first-grade teacher at Richnick Elementary School in Newport, Virginia. The 6-year-old student who shot Zwarner has not been publicly named, but reports say that multiple teachers, including Zwarner, shared their fears about the child's behavior with administrators. One school staff member said Zwarner had asked for help multiple times. She asked for support and expressed concerns about the boy's behavior. The administration seemed to just downplay or ignore the teacher's concerns. This particular child was known to throw objects, including furniture, in the classroom. He also wrote a note to a teacher. The note said that he hated her and wanted to set her on fire and watch her die. According to the teacher, when she brought the note to the administrators, they told her to drop it. On another occasion, the student blocked a teacher and other students from leaving their classroom. He did this by barricading the doors. The students and teacher were only freed after a colleague was alerted to their predicament and was able to get the door open. A substitute teacher who once taught Zwarner's class stated that after being assigned to the class, she decided she wouldn't return to the school again. When she was teaching Zwarner's class, she said that it had got to the point where she couldn't even teach because the students were screaming and fighting. Hours before the shooting, a school official had been alerted to the possibility that the boy may have brought a gun to school. They searched his backpack and didn't find the weapon. There was absolutely no struggle or warning that the boy was about to shoot his teacher. While Zwarner was instructing her class, the boy simply just aimed the 9mm Taurus handgun and shot her. After being shot, Abigail Zwarner made sure that all of her students were able to leave the classroom before she eventually collapsed. While the children were evacuating the classroom, another school employee who heard the gunshot rushed into the classroom and restrained the boy until police arrived. During this time, Zwarner collapsed and was taken to the hospital. The bullet went through her hand and into her upper chest. By some miracle, Zwarner has recovered and nobody else was harmed that day. After the shooting, the boy's parents made a statement to media. The boy suffers from an acute disability, and his mother or father accompanied him to class every day, they added. Revealing the week of the shooting was the first week when we were not in class with him. We will regret our absence on this day for the rest of our lives, they added. The shooting is being investigated as intentional. The boy is currently in court-ordered temporary detention and is currently receiving treatment at a medical facility. It is yet to be determined if the parents who owned the gun will be charged. How could a school fail so badly? I don't think anybody expects a 6-year-old to bring a gun to school, but we live in a very scary and strange time. As of June 2022, there have been 153 school shootings in the United States, 2 of which were active school shootings. In 2018 alone, there were 11 active school shooters. With these statistics, how can an administration fail their teachers and students so bad. They were told that the boy brought a gun to school, and yet they didn't find it, even after searching the backpack. Did they search the locker? Was the police ever called? I find it hard to believe that this child was so troubled that he acted in ways that would get an adult or teenager in trouble, yet nothing was done or taken seriously. He made threats and even held his classmates and teacher against their will, yet nothing was taken seriously. Should we expect school teachers to be able to handle students that have antisocial behavioral issues? If a teacher is concerned and even scared of one of their students, how could a school administration not be just as concerned? The superintendent of Newport Public Schools briefed the media in a statement. "I'm in awe, and I'm in shock and disheartened." He went on to say that he had a virtual meeting with teachers to get their input on security measures in the district and planned to hold a community town hall. He stated, "In no way do I believe that we were fully prepared for a 6-year-old student to bring a gun to school and shoot his teacher. There is a lot to learn here and a lot to unpack." Shouldn't we have already learned by now? There are a lot of shootings that come out of left field, but some of these recent tragedies are absolutely preventable. Seeing the signs in hindsight just isn't enough. If you own a gun and your child has been known to show aggressive behavior, you are responsible for keeping that gun in a location where that child cannot get to it. The parents in this case failed to protect more than just Warner. They failed to protect every child in that school. Unfortunately, this is the same story that is repeated too many times. As for the school systems, we need a better action plan rather than a reaction plan. Young children can be impulsive and unpredictable, but how can we have disruptive, threatening students in the same classrooms as other students? Students with major behavior issues should have special classrooms with a trained professional. We can't expect teachers to show concern about a student and not be heard. Teachers shouldn't be put in fear every time they go to work, and if a student's parents have to accompany them to the school, that's a major sign. As a society, we need to reduce the chances of child's mental health issues and homicidal thoughts going unchecked. Where do we start? When time and time again, children and young adults get their hands on guns that they shouldn't be able to have. Maybe even worse is an administration that ignores scared teachers and isn't even able to find a gun in a 6-year-old's backpack. This time, a tragic shooting ended in recovery. Next time, will we learn from the mistakes presented in this case and prevent a shooting? Or will we look back in hindsight and think about what we could have done? The school administration has since sent out a letter to parents stating that they are planning on buying 90 metal detectors and are going to be handing out clear backpacks to students. It's sad to think that these measures have to be taken in an elementary school where most of the students are under the age of 10. Perhaps this is going to become the standard. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please push that like button and consider subscribing. Also, comment below if you'd like to start a conversation on this topic.
It has to become better with fewer shootings. I mean, I think it's in the last 10 years, one of the numbers I've seen is that we're at 1 million people impacted by gun violence. You know, this year alone, I think we're already over 40,000 deaths. It's the #1 cause of death for children under the age of 19. We're averaging 2 mass shootings a day. Certain criteria to be able to say that that was a life saved, or that was a school shooting plan averted. So he and I are on a sky ride, and he thought it was hysterical and kept laughing. And this one was also... These acts of violence are preventable, and that we all have a role in doing something about it, supporting legislation, but also just changing the way we engage in this issue and act when we see warning signs and signals.
It was a decade ago that 26 people were killed in our school, and I think that realization is starting to hit us. Like 10 years, that's a long time.
I feel like the farther and further we move away from it, the more I feel I'm scrambling to just remember. So I really just think that the way I'm going to cope with that is just making, through people, kind of making sure I'm staying close with my best friend, making sure when I come home for breaks that I meet up with old teachers that I'm close with.
I would like the visitor to this memorial to come away feeling more peaceful and calm, and hopefully that the memorial itself and the plantings that we've created here will give people some solace and comfort, and a peaceful place to reflect on the tragedy at Sandy Hook, and really, I think, on gun violence in this country.